Hey, what's up? Red and gold fans, Niner nuts, Niner faithful. Welcome to the day before our matchup with the Green Bay Packers. Another matchup with the Green Bay Packers, our second go round with the Green Bay Packers. Only this time we're in the frigid state of Wisconsin, playing Green Bay on the classic Lambeau Field. Almost kind of feels like a heavyweight fight between two great boxers um, that have known each other for quite a long time or have been fighting each other for the last 2 years, especially with the rosters that we have and the Packers have that are kind of similar. Uh, First off, I just want to give a special shout out to anybody who's taking the chance to give a listen to this podcast. I really appreciate it, and for all the people who are following the page on Instagram as well as Facebook, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and to follow. It means a lot, man. A lot more cool content coming forward towards you. All things 49ers, but getting back to what I was saying. I don't know about you guys, but I feel good about this game, man. I really do. I think if you break down the statistics and the analytics and the numbers from the matchups that we've had with the Green Bay Packers in the past, you can see that a lot of things go in our favors. Now, of course, numbers, analytics, and stats aren't always everything. This isn't Moneyball, the movie, but I think that it gives you a very good outline of the way things um, should happen, could happen, and will happen. That being said, um, let's talk about last week's humongous win. What a win, man. What a game. Nail biter. But I will tell you this as much of a nail biter as it was during the end of the game, the wonderful thing about it was that there was that great, it had everything in that game. I mean, early on, we were whipping the Cowboys' ass left and right. I don't even care that. I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have 7 points over three, but I'll take the 3 points in the playoff game. And once again, I think Shanny called a gem of a game. I like that he wasn't gambling on fourth down, played it safe, used Robbie Gould, kicked the field goal. I mean, we got 10, 13, 16. We're up 16, nothing, three field goals and a touchdown. Yeah, another touchdown would have been nice. But hey, in the playoffs, you got to take what you can get, especially when you're on the road. And I loved what I saw. I really did, man. I loved the game plan. Earl Mitchell. What am I saying? Um, I'm getting my players confused. Elijah Mitchell. Wonderful game behind that amazing offensive line, just pounding the Cowboys left and right. I mean, look, 341 total yards, 169 yards on the ground. You know, you can't, you definitely can't look away at those numbers. And this is a defense that, even though they were ranked 20th, I'm sorry, I'm sipping coffee. Even though they were a 20th ranked defense, they had a lot of upside to them. Dan Quinn doing a phenomenal job with them. The outstanding play of rookie Micah Parsons, Diggs, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory. Um, you know, um, the list goes on and on. But I'll tell you this: they didn't look like a top. I mean, they're not in rankings, but we had their number all day long. In fact, that offensive line beat the ever loving shit out of them for the majority of the game. I thought, and I thought also too that Mika Parsons was kind of non-existent. I see that crazy meme going around how bullies got bullied where he was from. Where was he from? In Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, I believe. I could be wrong. And I saw him getting knocked over the field. They had that meme. I think it was Kittle blocking him or someone blocking him. He still look. The guy's a phenomenal, outstanding player, man. I mean, for a rookie to come in and do what he did, I love Mika Parsons, man. I loved watching him in the combines. I thought he was going to be just an absolute animal. I kind of wish the 49ers would have drafted him in retrospect, but that's neither here nor there right now. So, yeah, um, what a win, man. What a win. Um, just looking at the stats from the game, of course. Again, first couple of drives, first couple of possessions, we did exactly what we do. Just moving that ball. Um, I was kind of I was kind of shocked too that we were throwing the ball so early. The first two plays were runs by Debo Samuel, which I really loved, because I think that definitely threw them off a little bit. And then, uh, you know, two passes from Garoppolo to Benjamin, one to Ayuk, both complete. Mitchell, right guard for 13 yards. Garoppolo to Debo for 15 yards, and then Mitchell, in for the 4 yard touchdown. You know, it was a really good drive. Let's see, it was let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays. Niners running on all cylinders. That set the tone of the game, I think, right there. Dallas had no answer for that. Okay, and then we kicked off to them, gave them nothing. That first defensive stance was amazing. Bosa sacked Prescott. So did Ebukam, another guy who's come up huge. We held Ezekiel Elliott to negative yards, and then we got the ball back. Started off a little shaky, two incomplete passes, and then a nice pass to Juwan Jennings, who just keeps getting better and better and playing more clutch and big clutch games, which I love to see. And then back to the running game, man. Mitchell for 4 yards, Mitchell for 9 yards, Mitchell for 5 yards, and then Garoppolo to Elijah Mitchell. Even though that was a play I didn't understand. That was the 11 yard loss. And then there was the penalty on Jimmy G, the delay of game. And then came the pass to Kyle Juszczyk for 10 yards. So, you know what? We could have gone in on this drive, but we settled for 3, gave the ball back to them. And again, not a lot of stuff going on for them. Incomplete passes, short passes. Zeke not getting what he expected. Lots of pressure, as always. Hats off to the defensive backfield, too. I thought they played phenomenal. They held C.D. Lamb in check. They held Mari Cooper in check. They held Dalton Schultz, which he's been a backbreaker for defenses, in check for a lot of the game, or most of the game. So I really liked what I saw at that defensive backfield, man. Got the ball back. Mitchell, 2 runs. Got that penalty on Randy Gregory with the neutral zone infraction. Jimmy G, short middle to Ayuk for 9 yards. So again, moving the ball down the field. So we had the ball 3 times in the first quarter, which is great. I mean, that's what you want, man. You have control of the clock in that first quarter. As the second quarter starts, moving down the field, a nice 19-yard pass to Debo Samuel. And then we had Ayuk for 10 yards, Mitchell, 2 runs, Debo up the middle for 2 yards. Again, 4th and 1 at the Dallas 22. I like that Shanny didn't gamble, because that 3 points meant a lot. Get another field goal. So we're now we're in control. It's a 2-score game. That's what you want. And again, giving the ball back to Dallas, Zeke, 2 runs. Pollard, who another guy who I thought we were gonna see more of him. This is I'm sorry, yeah, 13-0, and this is where they scored. This is where the Dallas the Dallas offense really got in sync, and they did it rather quick too. I think it was let's see, yeah, it was less than a 4-minute drive. And funny thing about that was let's see, they ran the ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. 6, 7 times, and only had 1 pass from Dak Prescott. That 18-yarder to Cedric Wilson, which was really interesting to see them keep the ball on the ground, and have a lot of luck with it. But they did start from the 49 at 35. That's one thing we got to tighten up, is our special teams a little bit. We got to pin these guys back more, man. We gave up 32 yards to Tony Pollard on that return. That can't happen. You can't give an offense like that the chance to get in a good position. Any offense, for that matter, but mostly an offense that's dangerous, like the Cowboys. And you can't give them too much in terms of a field position. You got to make them work for that. So they ended up getting that touchdown. It was Dak to Amari Cooper, 20-yard pass. Nice pass, by the way. I think it was pretty good coverage, too, for the most part. Hey, look, man, sometimes people just make good plays. There's nothing you can do about it. That's one of the laws of the universe of sports. You could take that in any sport possible. And then on that other drive in the second half, we got the ball back. And again, we had settled for three to go up 16-7. And we had got down to the Dallas 34. Um, and again, Robbie Gould coming up big. And, I thought one of the biggest stops, too, was the end of the first half when we gave the ball back to Dallas. Um, they had gotten to the 49-yard line, and we turned them around. They were forced to punt it back to us with only 36 seconds left, so there wasn't a lot of time left. Plus, you're not going to gamble with 36 seconds in a playoff game. Let's face it, when you're not at home. And on that last drive that Dallas had, um, yeah, this is where, Dak had a lot of trouble. He two incomplete passes, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3 for three. Cooper Schultz, and then another incomplete pass. They had a penalty, which let's face it, Dallas had penalties all day long. Dallas killed themselves like they do all year long. They're the most penalized team in football. And I saw something I agree with. That goes back to coaching. That also goes back to being alert, having a system in sync. Because let's face it, the game, they don't get a lot of those penalties. I'm not saying they would have won the game, but I think it could have been a little different. But they killed themselves left and right, so they deserve to lose big time. All right. But going back to that drive, we were able to really hold them off, which was great. And then move on to the second half where we led 16-7. And you kind of knew that Dallas was gonna have to really wake up and come out and try and put the jet engines on, because you're down 16-7 at home in a playoff game. You haven't won a playoff game since 1995, which is absolutely fucking disgraceful. Disgraceful. Let me put that out there. Disgraceful that you haven't won a playoff game in that long. So anyway, again, on that first drive, they had two penalties, one on Connor Williams, one on Lyle Collins. We had a sack from Ariki Armstead. I just want to say, man, Ariki Armstead, you're playing lights out down the stretch, man. You look like a totally different player. You remind me. Oh man, he reminds me a little bit the way he's playing, especially when he's inside, like Bryant Young. And I know that's a big statement to say, because Bryant Young by far is one of my favorite players of all time. Plus, I think one of the best defensive tackles in all of football, and by far one of the greatest 49ers of all time. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He better get in the Hall of Fame. That's who he reminds me of at times when he's inside and he's just playing lights out. And the more I think that you watch Ariki Armstead, and the more that he plays at this high level on a very high powered, high energy like type of defensive front, you get to see how talented he really can be and how great he really can be. That long, tall build, he's got those nice moves. He's very quick. He's got that good angle when he moves outside, where he can swim, where he can use his speed to go right past a lot of the tackles, or use his strength. And then he comes inside, and he's like a wrecking ball, man. He's playing so good, man. Hats off to him. Hats off to that defensive front. After that sack, got that penalty on Nazaka, which I kind of didn't think was really a penalty. I mean, he did crash into Brian Anger, but at that point, how was he even supposed to stop his momentum? I mean, unless this is the fucking Matrix, he couldn't possibly pull himself back, and it was a 15-yarder. That gave the ball back to Dallas, which I thought that had we not would have had that bullshit penalty and we get the ball back there, that's lights out. That's the game. Um, Only because I don't know. Maybe we could have done something on it, but it didn't matter really, because Dallas didn't do anything with that drive. Again, Dak did not look comfortable. That defensive line made him uncomfortable all day long. He really couldn't get into a rhythm. They couldn't run the ball worth the shit. Let's face it, they couldn't run the ball worth the shit. All right, we got the ball back in that third quarter, of course, and didn't do much with it. Couple of incomplete passes. not a lot going. We didn't really get anywhere. We got down to our own 34, so had to give the ball back. And this is where we saw one of my favorite Niners come up big, Mr. Kawan Williams. I love this guy, man. I love the intensity he plays with. I love that um, he pops people. Came up with a big interception on Dak Prescott. I mean, that was a beautiful, beautiful interception, man. Um, and that, of course, led to the Debo Samuel right end run for 26 yards. So, we're riding at that point. We're riding. It's 23-7. At that point, I think everybody kind of checked out on the game, kind of felt it was over. But again, this being a pretty dynamic offense, you can never really say it's over. Cowboys get the ball back, they do nothing. We get the ball back, don't do much. Um, and going to the end of that third quarter, hats off to Charles Omenuhu, if I'm saying it right. Omenuhu, I can never say his name right. Man, he had some nice plays on that. He looked possessed. I mean, he rattled Dak Prescott on that sack, bro. Wasn't even funny. Knocked that ball loose. Um, again, Dallas gets the ball. They couldn't do anything with it. Gave it back to us again. Although they did have that fake. How many of you knew that fake was coming? How many of you felt that fake was coming? Listen, I'm the farthest thing from a guru, from a Yoda, from a wizard, from a mind reader. But I don't know, man. I'll give you this. That was a ballsy call, especially being at your own 48. And again, another good play. It happens, man. But that, of course, led to the Greg Zuerlein field goal, making it 23-10. And then from there, Niners get the ball back, and of course, a lot of eyes and ears were on the Jimmy G interception by Anthony Brown. The pass was intended for Trent Sherfield. Yeah, it wasn't a good play. He rolled out to his right. It kind of looked like from the start it was just Dallas had the upper hand. It was a broken play, and that did not help. It led to Dak Prescott scrambling into the end zone, making it 23-17, making the game close. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Cincinnati Bengal game where we had jumped out big and then kind of came back, took the foot off the brake a little bit, or a bad play happened, and Dallas got some momentum on their side, and then of course we all know how the rest of the game panned out. We held the ball for pretty long time, man. I mean, we went from 8 minutes and 2 seconds to 2 minutes and 49 seconds in the fourth quarter, which I thought was a very good drive. We monopolized the clock as best we could. We did get that penalty on Flanagan fouls, which cost us 5 yards. But other than that, I thought, at this point, with the way the defense has played, give the ball back to the Cowboys, and let the defense win the game for you. I mean, that's what they do. And of course, we all know how that ended, man. They couldn't get anything going. We got the ball back at our own 47, and at that point, again, it looked like it was all ours. We wrapped up, got that penalty on Trent Williams, which was absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Go back and look at that replay again. Bullshit. That was another bullshit penalty. And then there was another one on him. He had the false start twice, which was I thought were kind of ridiculous. And of course, we held the ball down to about 38 seconds. Again, smart. I mean, we were at the 50-yard line. Actually, we were at the Dallas. We were at the Dallas 47 until that penalty took us back to the Dallas 38. And then, Wisnowski punts it, and then everybody knows how the game went from there. Dak up the field, 9 yard pass, 10 yard pass, 9 yard pass, and then he did the 17-yard scramble and did not hand the ball to the ref. But it didn't really matter because they weren't going to win that game anyway. I don't care what anybody says. Listen, watching that game made me think of a couple of things. You Star Wars fans will know what I'm talking about. Greedo should have been quicker, and Dak should have handed the ball to the ref. Okay, or you could even say, remember, I don't know. I'm not aging myself because I used to watch old cartoons when I was younger. But if you watch the Woody Woodpecker cartoon where that police detective was always following him, if Woody would have gone to the police, if Dak would have given the ball to the ref, didn't really matter though. So great win altogether, man. Stuck it up their ass. Exactly what we needed to do. Go into Dallas and can make their streak of not winning a playoff game since Jesus Christ was on earth continue. Listen, man, I have no problem with the way Jimmy G played. Okay, he threw a pick. All right, it happens. Bad pass. It happens. Other than that, I thought he played pretty damn good. Um, despite his injuries, I thought he played pretty damn good. I don't even want to hear the nonsense that I'm seeing about him and his play and benching him or whatever people are talking about that don't know what the hell they're talking about. There are some people talking about putting in Trey Lance this game for the Green Bay Packer game. What are you smoking, bro? What are you drinking? Where are you sleeping at? I'll say this right now, and I've said it before, and I don't even want to get into this too much. I think Jimmy G should be the starter for the future. That's just my opinion. That being said, when we beat Green Bay and when we go to the Super Bowl, Jimmy G will be the starter. You'll see. Again, said it. Moving on. Let's talk about this weekend's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. As we all know, we saw them early on this season in a game that I listen. I thought we could have won that game. That was a winnable game. Lost 30-28. We were down. We went down early, 17-0, which we did against the Los Angeles Rams, and then we did what we always do. We came back. We cut it to 17-14 in the third quarter, and then they went ahead 24-14. We went ahead 28-27 towards the end of the game, but we made the mistake that most people make that you can never make, and that's we gave the ball back to Aaron Rodgers with some time on the clock. And listen, Mason Crosby 51-yard field goal, as bad of a season as Mason Crosby has had missing field goals, you still got to give him credit, man. He's still deadly crafty veteran. So winnable game. And if you look at the stats from that game, one of the more interesting things is we were beating them in a lot of categories. We had them 25-21 in first downs. They very interestingly, they had more rushing yards than we did, 100-67. Passing yards were very even. They had 261 to our 257. Let's see what else. Total yards, they were ahead of us a little bit. We turned the ball over twice, which you can never do against them. We had less penalties than they did, and they held the ball more than us. To me, that's the most important stat. Is the fact that they held the ball longer than we did, and I find that when that happens, good things do not happen for us. And I think with a team like the Green Bay Packers, you have to monopolize that clock from the start of that game. You can't give Aaron Rodgers anything. He's that deadly. He's that good. He's crafty. And when you give him more opportunity to do things, you better believe that it's going to pay off, man, for them in dividends. And that being said, obviously that can't happen again. And that's just from, that this was a matchup that we definitely could have won. One of the many matchups that we could have won in that game. I mean, he had some moderate numbers, 23-33, 261, 2 touchdowns. We only got to him once. What I thought was interesting was they had a lot of luck running the ball. I mean, Aaron Jones had 82 yards on the ground. He did have the touchdown, but here's the most important stat, of course. Their their best, one of the best receivers in football. 18 targets, 12 catches, 132 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, we can expect that again this weekend. Devontae Adams is by far one of the best. Like I said, I mean, it's not even funny what a connection him and Rodgers have. It's probably one of the best 1-2 combinations in football from quarterback to receiver, if you really want to get into it. Um, but other than that, they don't have a deadly number 2 and 3. I mean, it's no disrespect to Valdez Scantling or Alan Lazard. And they're also, of course, Robert Tanyan is not playing this game. He's been injured all season long with the knee injury or for most of the season. So we can kind of expect a lot of the same. Looking at the stats from that game, Jimmy G was, pretty much on point. 25 of 40, 257, 2 touchdowns, one. Did take 4 sacks. And we couldn't run the ball. There it is right there. It was Trace. I think that was Trey Sermon's start game. I'm not going to put the blame on Trey Sermon altogether, but I think that was one of the games that I wasn't really big on the game call for that. I just felt that from the start we were flat. In fact, if you kind of break down the play-by-play of that game, they came out pounding the ball. I mean, the first 2 plays were runs. Then it was the Aaron Rodgers show. 1, 2, 3, 3 for 3, 4 for 4 on that drive. Okay, and he went. Interestingly enough, he went to Lazard. That was that long pass to Alan Lazard to Aaron Jones, um, and then he went to Devontae Adams, and they got the 3. But the main thing was that they kind of moved the ball downfield really fast. Look, this is an offense very much to me that reminds me of the Golden State Warriors in basketball. You cannot go tit for tat with them. If you think you're going to go back and forth and back and forth and try and exchange buckets or try and exchange field goals and points, it's not going to happen because they can put your lights out at any time. Okay, that's what Aaron Rodgers does. They have that built right into him. He stretches the field when he has to, and look, they have the ability to hurt you that way. They have tall receivers. Okay. That being said, you have to limit his opportunities on the field. You got to keep him off the field, similar to what we did to him 2 years ago in the NFC Championship game. Um, Also in that game, I will say this too. Um, not having Mitchell, I think was a big effect because you could see that. You could see that it definitely affected us. I mean, we were running Kyle Juszczyk and Trey Sermon, so we didn't. Again, it's no disrespect to Trey Sermon, but obviously the Mitchell has grown into the star stud for our team without a doubt. And we just didn't get anything going. Giving the ball back to Green Bay too many times. I mean, the first quarter we gave them again, and that's when he hit Devontae Adams for the touchdown. They had that long drive. They were up already 10-0. And then, you know, we didn't do much. 1, 2, 3 and out. Can't do that. You can't do 3 and out against Green Bay. They'll kill you. There's no way, especially not at home. With them at home, can't happen. Can't happen. They will destroy us, man. Well, they'll destroy anybody for that matter. I mean, it's not going to work. Okay, in the second quarter, not much was changing. Okay, there was that interception by Jair Alexander. That's another thing. We cannot turn the ball over against this team. It can't happen. And they're going to be looking. They're going to be looking for that pick. They're going to be looking for it. The weather's going to be cold. They're at home. They've been off for a while. They're going to be feeling feeling their oats at home. And again, they rolled. I mean, they rolled down the field. And I just think again, a game like this, we have to do what we always do. That's monopolize that clock. Take advantage of that clock as much as you can. And you can see from just looking play by play in this game, couldn't get much going until that second quarter, end of the second quarter. We got that Trey Lance touchdown, and that kind of that helped us, man. Cut the lead to 10, And then going into the second half, it was a totally different team. Came down the field. I mean, look at the second half. Jimmy G to Kittle, right? Let's see, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, 5 for 5. Okay, he was 5 for 6, 6 for 7 on that drive and a touchdown pass, man. When again, when we're in sync, no one stops us. No one stops our offense. It's a well-oiled machine, man. Totally different team in the second half, 17-14. Able to stop them on defense. Um, get the ball back again. And you could see, too, weren't really running the ball too much in that second half as much. Jimmy G was throwing it a lot more, gave it back to them. Um, this was a kill, this touchdown pass to Valdez Scantling, because it made it 24-14 going into the fourth quarter, which kind of looked like it was going to be a locked up win. But again, he was sacked double times here. And that defense has played a lot better, man. You got to give them their due. I think this is the best I've seen their defense in 2 years, man. I really do. I thought 2 years ago the defense was highly overrated, but I think that they're playing at their top right now. And what you can see here is, again, we go on a little bit of the offensive. We had a. It kills me to look at these stats sometimes because it's another game we could have won, man. We should have beaten them. We moved down the field. Thank God, got that pass interference call, and again ended with a Trey Sermon run, making it 24-21. So, cut the lead back, came back, do what we do. But at that point, it wasn't too late. But I just think, I don't know. It's Aaron Rodgers we're talking about here, man. So, again, defense does their job, stops them. And, we get the ball back and we're able to just roll, man, down the field. Again, kudos to that Packer defense. They had 4 sacks in that game. We turned the ball over at the Green Bay 44, giving it back to them. Again, defense holds Crosby to a field goal. And then, again, it's the Jimmy G show coming down the field. I mean, 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 1 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 2 for 6, 3 for 7, 4 for 8, touchdown pass to Jusek. Cut it close. Took the lead, man. Took the lead 28-27. But again, the biggest factor, this time on that clock. Ooh, drop something. This time on that clock. And look, you can't give them anything, man. You cannot give this team anything. And again, it was a winnable game. It was a winnable game. But what I think again, to have luck against this team, I just want to go back to 2 years ago when we rolled over them. You can't go by last year because we had all those injuries when we played them on that Thursday night game. 2 years ago we beat them 37-8, ran them over. They were a lot very similar, same team, and then 37-20 in the playoffs. Okay, and if you remember that game, here's the most interesting stats about this: is that we ran over them in an insane amount of yards. Where are we? Let's see. Here we are. And again, I know I don't want to say it's rare, but look at the rush yards we had against them, 285. Raheem Mostert went off in that game. If you guys, for anyone who doesn't remember, 220 yards on the ground. I mean, they couldn't touch us. The funny thing, too, was Jimmy G was only 6 of 8. Didn't have to do much in that one. And even though, like, a lot of these were garbage stats here because, it was kind of catch up, but still able to do the damage that we had to do against them. And as you can see, like anything else, one, two, three sacks on Aaron Rodgers, and we were able to get 2 picks. So again, like anything else, it's not brain surgery. When you pressure this guy, limit his opportunities, and the offense is doing their job, monopolizing the clock, we win. It's not brain surgery. It really isn't. Um, and yeah, things are a little different in that we're playing in their home. They're rested, but you know what? So what, man? Who cares? Um, the good we got the good green light this week that a lot of our players are back, and you know the health is there. Bosa was practicing. Jimmy G was practicing. Um, it looks like I think they're gonna go. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that they're not going to go for this one. I mean, Bosa, of course Jimmy G is going to go, but I think Bosa's definitely in. Warner had that ankle injury last week. I think he's definitely in. So yeah, are we a little nicked up? But who isn't? Okay, maybe they had more time to rest, but I don't think that's really. I can't unless Bosa doesn't play. I can't think it's going to be that much of a factor. And my money is on him playing, um, big time. Uh, I think that a guy like a, a tremendous athlete like that is not going to miss the opportunity to play in this game. I mean, it was a crazy hit that he sustained last week. Thank God he's all right. Um, you don't ever want to see anybody get hurt, but you know, I think he's definitely going to go for this one. Um, just looking at a lot of the stats too. I mean, look, they have a pretty good offense. They're ranked 10th points scored per game. We're ranked 13th. Not too much of a difference. Points allowed, they give up more points than we do per game. Okay. Passing yards a game, they're ranked 8th with 253. That's one thing that of course, you've seen over the last couple of years is that Green Bay has become a little bit of a running team now with Aaron Jones and Dillon. Um, Even when they had Jamal Williams too, they implemented that running game, something they really needed to do to kind of take a lot of the pressure off of Aaron Rodgers and just keep them from being a predominantly passing team. They've really added another dimension to their game with that rushing game. So um, that's why we see less pass yards from him at 253 per game. Running the ball, they're averaging 111, which is 18th in the league compared to our 127, which is ranked 7th. That's where I think the importance of this game is going to lie, is having um, the thumbs up in a running game, and just like we saw last week, Mitchell, Debo, um, that offensive line pounding forward. Defensively, on a defensive pass, they're ranked 10th. They give up more yards than we do. And the defensive rushing, they give up more yards than we do. So again, this is a good defense, but they're beatable. I think they're a little better than the Dallas Cowboy defense, but they're beatable. Okay. Um, and they're missing, according to the injury report, Jair Alexander is out with his injured shoulder. David Bakhtari is questionable with the knee. Devondre Campbell is questionable with his elbow. Aaron Jones is questionable with his knee. He had limited practice. Devondre Campbell had limited practice, although David Bakhtari did have a full practice. So look, we got to expect these guys to go. And I know Rodgers has that toe injury, but come on, these guys are going to go hardcore. It's not even an issue. They're going to go. But again, I think what it's going to come down to is the same things we've said all season long. Utilizing that clock correctly, keeping Rodgers off the field, limiting his offensive opportunities, using the run game for the predominant amount of production on the offensive side. Having hopefully long drives, and most likely hopefully getting 7 instead of 3, but if you can get the 3, why not? And on defense, doing what we did last week is just putting the pressure on Dak. I'm sorry, putting the pressure like we put on Dak, putting the pressure on Aaron Rodgers. You're getting the hands in his face. You know, we've all seen him not do great under pressure, man. That's why we need Bosa for this one. We need that defensive line to do what they've done all, especially during the last couple of weeks of the season, is play lights out. Jones, Armstead, Contavious Street, Omen Hayu, whatever I mess up his name all the time. Ebocom, um, DJ Jones. I mean, it's all there, man. For us, it's all there. I think the timing is perfect. I think that this is probably one of the best, well seasoned teams I've seen, despite what happened in the regular season. And can't have a lot of penalties, which we've been lucky not to have. And you can't turn the ball over, which we've done against the Rams twice and against Dallas. Can't do that. Can't do that with this one. You know, I kind of think that, God forbid it ever comes to a situation where we go down like we were down in the Rams game, 17-0. I think it's going to be a little different with this Green Bay team because of the different, you're playing in the cold weather, of course, although I don't know how much of a factor that's going to be because this is a well-oiled 49er machine that's used to that takes on everything. But still, you have to put that into consideration. And two, it's just this is a different beast than Dak Prescott. Let's face it. Aaron Rodgers is a different beast than Dak Prescott. Um, I think we can. I mean, look, you can come from behind. We've done it. We did it against this team. We did it against the Rams, but you don't want that. Um, you want to jump out ahead. You want to get that first punch in, like anything else. And I think when we do that, we're golden. We've seen that when we do that for the majority of the time, we win this game. So this is a winnable game, big time, and I think we're definitely going to be victorious in it. And there's no reason, man. No reason why. I mean, but I think we're better than what's out there. Even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. As a whole, as a team. Yeah, I know Tom Brady. I get it, but as a whole, as a team, I mean, if you watched that game last week against the Eagles, they kind of left the door open multiple times for the Eagles to come back. The Eagles had just played absolutely god awful. Jalen Hurts looked terrible. That being said, the door was open for them to make a run at one point, but that never happened. Tampa Bay don't scare me. They don't scare me. And the Rams, sure shit, don't scare anybody. Let's face it. I mean, the Rams are cotton candy. We all know that. So I think that this is the key matchup that everybody's been waiting for. I think this could be possibly the Super Bowl, if you really want to talk about it like that, because there's nobody really in the AFC that's. I mean, I know Kansas City, but still, I think this is the Super Bowl, and I think we're the better team. And I love going into the opposing team's home as the underdog. I think that this is like I said, a well-oiled machine that has been together, that knows what it takes. A lot of the same players are there in certain positions. Shanny has been on point with his game calling. Um, it's going to be a really high-powered octane, a lot of intensity in this game, and I can't wait to see Jimmy G do well in this, get into a rhythm. And I can't wait to see the running game just pound the living shit out of that Packer defense, because that offensive line is way better than that defensive front. That's not a knock at the Packers defensive line. I'm just saying what's obvious. That offensive line is by far the best offensive line in football. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the experts, whoever they are, rank it. We're the best offensive line in football. Got the best offensive tackle in football, number one, and one of the best centers. And then you've got just, guys have just played amazing. Um, I think that offensive line is just going to roll right over them. And again, no turnovers, no penalties. Even if you go down the field and get three, but you're rolling, I think is very important. And the less chances that Aaron Rodgers has on the field, the better. Again, it's not brain surgery. It's not brain surgery, man. and we're going to get a lot of pressure on him, I think, for sure. I love this revolving door we have with a lot of players, man. I love seeing that last week. Um, guys filling in, Omen Yuhu and Ebukam getting in there. And like I mentioned, the great play of Ariki Armstead, obviously the great play of Nick Bosa. DJ Jones is just, I can't say more about DJ Jones. I think DJ Jones is so underrated. He's probably one of the best defensive tackles in football. That doesn't get talked about, but I don't know why. He's just a game changer, I think. For his size, I love what he brings. I love the way he moves, the way he absorbs offensive tackles and how he shuts down plays. That's another thing, too. They're going to look to run the ball big time against us. They're not going to have a lot of luck, though. This defense is playing at a very high level. We're going to shut that running game down. And then it's going to come down to, Rodgers, obviously, Rodgers and Devontae Adams. And of course, I think that's, everyone's expecting that. You'd be silly not to. But that being said, look, it's a winnable game. Also too is Marquez Valdez-Scantling looks like he's out too, going back to their injuries. He's doubtful, so that limits another one of their targets. Now, of course, like I said before, other than Devontae Adams, who's their main killer, they don't have other killer wide receivers as good as Devontae Adams, but still, this is another thumbs up for us. So. Hey, look, man, like I said, that defensive backfield has really established themselves. Ambry Thomas playing really good. Kwan Williams. I love what I'm seeing out of these guys. Jimmy Ward. I can't say enough about Jimmy Ward either, man. He's playing so good. I love what I'm seeing out of these guys. And having this team as a whole pretty much healthy back to where we are is so important, man. Hopefully we can get Jordan Willis back to this one. I know he's practicing limited. He's got that ankle. Aziz Al-Shahir had practiced fully on Wednesday and Thursday. Jimmy had full practices. Greenlaw full practices. Marcel Harris had a full practice yesterday. Huffenega had 2 full practices. Mitchell, Thomas. So, look, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We're going to roll into Lambeau, and we're going to roll over the Packers. You heard it here. Can't wait to talk to you guys after our victory tomorrow. Niner Nut, giving you much love, much respect. Want to hug all you red and gold fans. We're a unique group. We're a special group. We're diehards, but most importantly, we're loyal. We stick with our squad, and we're objective. We call it like I see it. Wow. After tomorrow, we will roll on, and we will be victorious, and Aaron Rodgers will have another loss against us. Niner Nut out.